Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. See who we have here.
Hello.
We've got the amazing Altus, and today we are in my house working on, finishing or, and discussing the strategy in bringing Steph's upcoming book, which is going to be called One Big Goal.
My faded uniform.
Oh, sorry. I totally. Yes, right. So we've talked about her vision and her business being all about achieving that one big goal in your life. And I was just totally distracted. So yes, it's called My Faded Uniform. So I would like to leave it to Steph and just hear from you your experience in writing this book.
Yeah, so initially I started with Shilpa from lots of notes that I had and started writing the book. And then through discussion, Shilpa just changed the process a little bit, and we did it through recordings and transcribing those recordings. The documents were then sent back to me to read through, and I was just sharing with Shilpa the last few days about the process of being able to talk freely and not have to break that thought by writing has been an amazingly therapeutic tool for me. And so then getting the transcription back and rereading the story that I shared with Shilpa for this book, and obviously the word count was way too high, so it needed to be edited down a fair bit. It was the process of editing it, which I'm doing at the moment, has been like a coaching session all in itself.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because you get to read what your mind is thinking, but this time you get to edit the bits you want to keep and that are now relevant to now, and you get to throw away all the useless story around it. And it's just been the most fantastic experience of letting go what's not relevant anymore. It's amazing. Yeah.
I think it's just so beautiful, and we were talking about this a little while ago. Just by, I won't go into the details because you will read it when the book comes out, and Steph is doing a brilliant, very courageous job of putting her story out there. But there are some real dark emotions and some real hard truths which she has shared in the book. And we did get she did get slightly emotional sometimes during our interviews. I think we had 6 interviews together, 5 or 6. And the amazing part is, when I heard her feedback today, when we assembled together to, do some editing work together. And, now when she's out of that dark place, when she has progressed further ahead in her mind and she's totally ready to, bring this book out to the world, now in reading all those stories of the past, it's already giving her such a big measure of how far she has traveled. Oh wow, I'm not in that dark place anymore. I'm so resilient. I have crossed that obstacle. I have jumped over it. And now here I am. So really brilliant. I would also just like to ask you, what was your biggest fear or anxiety or nervousness around writing this book? Before you even got started.
My biggest fear was exposing myself to other people.
I can
and
imagine.
Being judged around that. For being judged about who I am now for what had happened to me in my past.
Oh wow.
And when in the process of doing the book and rereading it and editing it, I realised that these stopped being stories and started being just events.
They're just events.
Events shape our lives in some way. But once we take the story away, we gain so much more clarity on where we need to go with that event.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we can share that event much more freely because we're no longer judging ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And that's
process.
the biggest learning I've had. I knew it intellectually, but through Steph's journey, I've learned that it's never others who are judging us. It's our imaginary judgment that that we're giving ourselves. If we think I'm not good enough, we think the world thinks we're not good enough.
Yeah.
Or if we think, it's two ways actually. In us imagining, in our assumption that the world will judge us, we are actually judging the world. So we are being judgmental because we are judging the world to be judgmental.
Exactly. That was one of the great things that I found in the book. Was in one of the chapters we were talking about, and I was describing a situation that had happened with my father, where I felt that he was judging me, but in reading it back, I realised that I was judging him about him even doing that, because he may not have even been coming from that space.
Yeah.
And once I let go of that, I realised that little chapter we'd written was actually me judging myself and being fearful of judging myself. And then I was able to move past that, and instead of judging myself, actually celebrate myself that I'd done something good from something so difficult at the time.
Wow.
So it became an event that became growth and learning rather than judgment.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful experience.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I'm just reminded of is, something about stories. And though we want to share, like my whole message is that your story matters. But I think this process has allowed you to vent out or express out or language out or just release all the stories that are, they were clogged inside you. And then in revisiting the script, you're able to just, delete or disregard the stories that is not helping anyone.
Yes.
And just keep the ones that matter.
And in black and white on paper.
Absolutely.
The emotions taken out of it.
Yeah.
So you can look at it in a much more real way.
Yeah.
Without the terrible feelings that sit when you're trying to speak it.
Yeah.
And it's, the place that I've gone to since doing this in my own mind is just this really clear understanding of what I want for the future instead of this looping of my past.
Yeah.
And I realise that I don't have to bring my past into my future in an emotional sense. I can bring my past into my future as a learning and sharing for other people who are going through that experience, and to help them move through that process too. So, I certainly recommend, if you ever are looping in a painful experience of the past, get a coach like Shilpa.
Yep.
Do the interviews, transcribe it, and even if you never intend this as a book for someone else to see, go through the transcription and see the reality of it. And if it's still painful, you'll know the bits that you need to work on, and you'll realise that you actually don't carry it in you anymore. It's okay to let go. Editing is a beautiful thing.
I think, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. And I would really like to commend you for how far you have come, because I know we've been in conversation for nearly more than a year, actually, even before you started writing the book, we've been in conversations. And yes, your thinking patterns were very different then to how they are now. And you're right now just taking one thing at a time, taking one big goal at a time. And this point, can I mention about your big goal? Can I just
quickly
touch upon it?
Absolutely.
So Steph is doing something. She has taken up a very big, commitment, a big goal, and that is of walking the Camino Trail in Spain. That is how long? Like,
it's almost 800 kilometers.
It's 100 kilometers by feet walking, right? And Steph's taking up this walking trail somewhere a little after the middle of the year, right?
October.
Yeah, October. Okay, October 2018. And we are slowly cooking up a next book, which is, we know the name and we know the story, but now she's allowing the story to build, so it's ready in time to write. And the book is most likely going to be called Couch to Camino.
May I just share, Shilpa, that
Please.
when I first discussed with you the idea of this book, and I know I came to you and I made a commitment to you, and then absolute fear of exposing myself and making myself public put me frozen in that space, and I wasn't able to move forward. And I wasn't able to
share about that? Can I talk about it?
Yeah.
So I think Steph signed up with me in May 2017. I clearly remember. So, some dates just remain in your mind, and it was the 1st of May. So I thought, wow, it's the 1st. It's a great day. Steph has made a commitment. And in June, she came back to me and she said, okay, like it was like a back out. So she made a commitment and then she backed out in June. And so, I add all my clients to my, to a private Facebook group. And, I did just that for Steph in May. But I never removed her in June because I knew she needed the space. She needed the time to, she was fighting some battle internally, and I just felt that I never felt it right to remove her from my private clients group. And when I was least expecting it, October last year, she just messaged me. It was a long text, and that's how Steph does it. She just goes all in. Her texts are as long as emails, and I love reading them. So I got a very beautiful testimonial, I think 2 days ago, on text. And so basically in October, I just heard from her, hey Shilpa, can we revive the program? Can we do it again? And I'm like, yes, you can, of course. So here we are today. Her book is nearly done, and we are envisioning it's going to be out anytime April.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. And this was the kind of a curtain raiser on my Write a Book Without Writing a Word program. You'll hear more about it in my subsequent emails. But until then, take care.
Fabulous program.
Yay. Take care. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.